Are you always coming up with ideas? Do you marvel at successful business owners? Do you hate being told what to do? Ever take things apart just to see how they work? Are you a dreamer? If you've answered yes to any of these questions, this podcast is for you. Welcome to the Entrepreneurial Enclave with Kevin Wortham, the podcast that focuses on building, maintaining, pivoting, planning, and investing in you, the entrepreneur. But first, a word from our sponsor.
Welcome to another fantastic episode of the Entrepreneurial Enclave, Life's Coming Attraction. Man, with my partner and co-host Pierre from Go Bang Magazine, every interview, every conversation gets better and better and better. So having said that, we are glad to welcome to the platform Donald, or Brother Don Crossley, to the platform. Brother Don, come on board, man. Talk to us. How are you?
Hey, man, I'm fine. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. So your name is synonymous with house music. Do you know that?
Well, I've known it for a while. It's just that, the public didn't know, but I've known it.
Well, so tonight, with your permission, and thank you for Pierre again, my co-host, my partner in crime, we are going to get the word out. So to let folks know that your name is synonymous with house music. So I understand that one day you and your friends decided to come to New York. Why did you want to come to New York?
Well, basically, we had always heard a lot about New York and partying and the fashion industry and everything like that.
Yes.
But we decided, hey, let's just get a flight and hop out and go to New York. And we ended up going that time. We ended up going 5 or 6 times before anything else because we had such a good time. And the parties were just phenomenal. Davis Loft and, the garage and places. So we had never been to anything like that. And that's when we decided to keep going.
Wow. So up until that point, where were you partying in Chicago?
Oh, my God. It was like a desert. Let's see. There were a couple of places that we would go to. One of the places was a place called the Jeffrey Pub on the south side of Chicago in the South Shore neighborhood, or either some house parties. But there were no really bars that we really went to that much.
Got you. So you.
Now, I got it.
Yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Go ahead, bro.
No, Pierre, come on, man. You know how we do it. Go ahead, Pierre. Talk to me.
All right. Well, Don, what were some of the key musical or cultural influences that shaped your early life in Chicago?
Oh, well, basically, the Regal Theater, always attending there, and I became interested in music or music. Just basically dealing with a lot of stuff in Chicago. The downtown area, Art Institute, and places like that. And certainly, music and the science industry. I used to spend a lot of time there with friends of mine. So that kind of got me started.
Okay. Now, in your younger years, when you were because I hadn't heard, like you had said in the introduction, that you knew you were influential in the beginning of the house, but a lot of the public didn't. I'm one of the people that didn't. I had always heard of Robert Williams with the beginning parts of the Warehouse, and I'm friends with him as well. But I hadn't heard of you until till I saw the WTTW special. Right. And I was like, wow, who is this? You know what I mean? I think, and I wonder if a lot of people was like that. So how was you were you and Robert all friends? You all were all friends together, or business partners, or what?
Like we saying, the true story, or the real story, or the only story.
Yeah,
is basically what Michael and Vicky and I started. The club. And Robert was the person who lived in New York. So once he came here, we met him. But we had started our club already. So he was just like one of those people who be a tag along.
Okay. Okay, so it was already started by the time Robert got here.
Yeah.
Because, okay, well, this is all new information for me.
And one of the things about it, basically, not jumping the gun, but after we left the U.S. Studio warehouse, it was because we saw some things that were beginning to happen that we didn't appreciate. And we only owed it to the fact that people from New York were always trying to be slicker than the people in Chicago. So that set us on that path. And basically, the reason that we didn't take too much of I think you caught my gist there.
He's from the East Coast.
Yeah,
That's why.
I'm from New Jersey, so I understand.
Okay, yeah, you're a Jersey boy. No, but seriously, it ended up being the kind of thing that we wanted to make sure that people knew about it. But once we split up, and even after we left the Bowery, Michael, being the kind of nice, quiet guy that he was, never wanted to say anything about it, even though we would hear things being said about the warehouse, and the only name that you would hear would be Robert Williams. And I always wanted to say something, and Mike would tell me, "Down, it's not worth it."
So who's the Michael you're referring to?
Michael is the other person, Michael Matthews. Started the club along with Dickie Jones, Donald Crossley, and Michael Matthews. That's who are the co-founders of U.S. Studio Warehouse.
Wow.
Okay.
Wow.
Wow.
So when you started U.S. Studio, was that in effect prior to you guys starting your visit to New York?
No. Well, that's what made us start it.
Gotcha.
Because one particular Saturday, Michael and we lived on the north side. We would come to the south side and visit our in-laws, our parents. And one Saturday morning, we came over to my mother. And as we were sitting there talking, I was telling her, "Oh, getting ready to go to New York again." But she had a thing about it because, remember, we were still like living in a, kind of hostile community.
Hostile type. Yeah.
Back in during that time, the early 70s. So she was always worried and concerned that something would happen to me, and I always had to assure her everything's going to be okay.
Yes.
She said, "I just understand, why do y'all have to keep going?" I said, Michael said, "Because of fashion." I said, "Because of the parties. They have great parties." And she said, "Right, we need to have a party here." Yeah. And like you said, that light bulb popped up in my head. I'm like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah. Wow.
So Michael and Vicky and I sat down one day and just started talking. Then we, got to recruit a couple other friends that we knew that we wanted to be a part of it. But Robert was not one of them.
Okay. That's brand new news for me.
I'm not being deceitful or anything with that, but he was not an actual part of that at that particular time. He came along later.
Yeah.
Wow. So, because even during the times of one in New York, we would be there, he would be there. We'd be partying together at Davis Loft, the garage, any of those places. So it was all fun.
Right.
And then once we got back here, once he moved back here, we had a party. That's when we had the party at the apartment. And we realized that we had more than about 500 people coming in and out. We said, "Oh, we got this. Let's just get us a place." That's what did it.
Wait, stop. Wait. You're saying the very first time you guys did a party at the apartment, you had over 500 people?
It was on Belmont, right off the Sheridan Road, in the 6-flat building. I think it was 432 West of Belmont.
Okay. That's on the north side of Chicago.
Yeah, we were carting people in the front and out the back.
Wow.
Even to the degree that the police came, and I thought, "Oh, no, God, here we go." It was a 6-flat building.
Yes.
And, back in that time, who lived there, who monopolized the neighborhood. But the police are really decent, because when we talked to them, they said, we're not having a problem with the crowd because you guys look like you're doing good. We just want to know, how in the hell you get that many people in there? How many people up in there? They were around the corner on Belmont, all the way around the corner on Sheridan Road.
Okay. So, could you please describe like the underground music scene in the 70s and how U.S. Studios contributed to its growth?
Well, because what we were doing is basically as far as listening to music, we ended up having to go to the north downtown to Bistro. And while we went to Bistro, and we did not like, the feeling they were getting, the type of feeling it was, what kind of place it was. Right. So we decided that this is not going to do it for us. So once we would leave the Bistro and we'd get back south to the south side, we should sit on the train station platform on 71st and Jeffrey. The RC there, we used to just sit in there and talk or sit on the track, but not on the track. You know what I mean?
I know you're sitting there in the middle. Yeah, I got you.
And that's when we'd be coming up with all our ideas, a couple of beers and a couple of joints, you know, that kind of thing. Yeah. So, yeah, but as far as like really listening to music back then, it wasn't really happening like we thought. So we knew if we brought some of that music back from New York, it can filter right into Chicago, and that's what it did. Michael Matthews was actually the first DJ, but he never gets credit for it. That's why I said as far as telling the story, I wanted him to get credit for it because he was the man.
At U.S. Studios?
Yeah, he brought Frankie here. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so this is going to be new information for everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, this is cool. Yeah, this is cool. So let me just pick back up on what Pierre was saying. So when you're at let me go before U.S. Studio. When you did your first apartment party, who was your DJ at that time?
Michael Matthews.
Michael Matthews. So he stayed with you all the time until you came into the warehouse as well.
Yeah, he was one of the original co-founders.
Got you. But he just so happened to be a DJ as well. Okay, got you. And
but you know the thing about him was he learned how to do that. He had never done that before.
Okay.
He learned how to become a DJ.
Got
at
you.
the party.
Got you. Now, so now, where did the sound system come from? Because you know, in house music, the sound system is all important as much as the atmosphere and the DJ. Where did the sound system come from at that time that you guys were using?
Well, there was a place on the north side, and this is one of the things that Robert and Ziggy helped us with, renting the equipment. I can't remember the name of the place, but we rented some really, really expensive and good equipment.
Yes.
Speakers and everything. That's what gave us that sound, and we kept it ever since.
Got you.
Yeah.
Got you. Now I know Pierre's got a question, but I want to jump in with this other question. So we're let's go back to New York. So you make your 4 or 5 trips from Chicago to New York, right? Every time you came to New York, you were meeting new people. Were you thinking about coming back to start a club in Chicago, or you just enjoying the fashion, the night out, and just having a good time?
You know, after that, that's a good question. Nobody's ever asked that. But after the 4th or 5th time that we went, that's when, like I said, when I knew, after I listened to what my mother said, I realized that we could do it.
Yes.
Because we were, you know, we had the mentality, we had the spirit.
Yes.
We were good-looking people. We knew how to talk and communicate.
Yes.
So we knew that's all it would take and to get people. Plus, we were kind of popular at, you know, any of the Southside bars or something like that. So, you know, that was destined to happen.
Love it. So, Pierre, you know what's so funny, man? Brother, I gotta clap for you, Pierre. Thank you, man. You outdone yourself this time because I'm like, wow, we got to make this one blow up because this is like earth-shaking information. Keep going, Don. Keep going, Pierre. I'm sorry.
Yeah, this is definitely a new information for everybody that's listening.
Yeah.
This is definitely that. Don, what do you think what was you all's goal behind creating U.S. Studio? What was the goal?
Great question. The goal was to get a lot of the my gay, black, and brown brothers and sisters into a location together. And I knew that we could never get everybody basically on the south side.
Okay.
So we knew once we had that party up north on Belmont, and that sense that everybody can get to that point. But we knew that if we ever had a club, we were going to have a place that would be smack dab in the middle. And that would come the north side, the south side, east side, and west side, which is what we accomplished. Our goal was to have some place for us to go without people looking or giving us a hard time with ID or identification. You can have identification, go to the beach at 110 and still have a hard time getting in.
Yeah.
But it was just to the fact that we had this one guy that was at the door that whenever we would come there, if there was a line, he'd wait for us to come around and let us in. So I always thought I remembered that guy, Johnny, and I'll never forget him to this day. Yep.
Now, I know a lot of people that's not from Chicago may not quite understand, so we can be frank here. It was a lot of white clubs on the north side, and when the white gay clubs, and when the black people came, it was not a welcoming feeling. Can you talk a little more about that?
Believe me, if we weren't welcome, but we didn't care because we knew that we didn't care because, I mean, hey, we came from the South Side and we had some stride and we had pride. And we knew that basically, as long as we stuck together and presented ourselves to people in the manner in which we were, we weren't trying to be phony or anything. When we came to those places and got in, people were amazed, I guess, because, you know, they always amazed how black people react to certain things. But we were fashionable, and of course, we could dance.
Yeah.
So,
if nothing else, right?
You'd have that crowd that be standing out saying, damn, look at him. So, yeah, you can get on in here. Come on, join in. So, it was that type of opening, and people always loved when we came to Bowery. We didn't go to that many places up north. Oh, we also went to a place called the Den One.
Okay. Yeah, I remember all the clubs. Den One. I used to live in South Shore where the Jeffrey Pub was.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'm familiar with that. And the little, where you say the train, where you catch the train out by your ticket, you used to sit up in there or on the platform.
Right.
Yeah.
You know about the Den One, that's where a lot of people know Ron Hardy from.
Gotcha.
Yeah. But he was there before the box.
During my time, there was no Ron Hardy.
Okay.
Ron Hardy came later, afterwards, even basically after the Bowery. Because he came to the warehouse after that. After we had been gone, Bowery had closed. Ron Hardy had taken over, the music box and all of that. But basically, I had never heard of it. Okay. Before that.
So Don, brother Don, I'm sorry. So now, by the fourth or fifth time, you come up with the idea that you're going to start the U.S. studio once you got back home.
Right.
Where did the funding come from?
Well, one of the things about that was Siegfried Chu, who was a gay violinist from Germany.
Yes.
He became our financier, and we knew that we'd be able to pay him back once we started making money, and that was automatic. We knew that once we had a party, we were going to make money. That's how positive we were about it. We had a packed crowd no matter what. So that's where the money came from. Then after that, we just decided to start a bank account.
Okay.
And that's what we were able to have. And then plus, back then, things weren't that expensive.
Very true. Very true. But even though they weren't that expensive, I'm still thinking and I'm still listening to the challenges that you had being a black gay man, still trying to get things done.
Yeah, well, we still had to throw a few dollars in ourselves and everything. We also knew people that it's almost like we didn't ask for donations, but there were people who wanted to make sure that we succeeded.
Yes.
There you go.
Yes.
So that would be your VIP donors.
Yes.
So that when you have your parties and stuff, they never had a problem getting in, which was not something that was planned. It was unspoken, but it was something that you had to do.
Okay. So as time went on, U.S. Studios did its thing and was all that it was hoped to be. What was the demise of that, and where did the warehouse, how did that get?
Okay, well, from U.S. Studios started basically at 1400 South Michigan. After the apartment party, we found the location at 1400 South Michigan, which is right across from the fire station, which is now like a Chicago firehouse, state house, and something like that. So we were there for a short while, and then, of course, the firemen complained, they can't sleep, they can't rest, because at 3 and 4 o'clock in the morning, the party is boom, boom, boom. Right.
Just getting warmed up.
Right. Yeah. Until 6 in the morning. And a couple of times the guys were really nice about it, but then we also understood, but we just needed that at that particular time. Then after that, we left and went to the 555 West Adams. Okay. So that's where we went, and that's when U.S. Studios became kind of U.S. Studio Warehouse. Now, one of the key things I always want to say is because Robert used to always have a problem with who started the warehouse. Well, you have to look at it like this. You're in a warehouse district, in a warehouse. You got people saying, are you going to the warehouse tonight? Are you going to... They didn't say, are you going to U.S. Studio or U.S. Studio Warehouse? So it was a time we knew what people were talking about.
Yes.
And eventually, Robert incorporated that into U.S. Studio Warehouse. So after that, after we had been there for a little while, we ended up leaving. Vicky and Michael and I.
So the people named it the warehouse. It was U.S. Studios, but the people, by being a warehouse in the warehouse district,
Right.
they renamed it.
Exactly. They said, that's it. They didn't say, I'm going to U.S. Studio.
Right.
So that was it.
What year is this around?
Oh, my God. Let's see. That had to be, 70? I'm not that good with years. About 70, 70, somewhere in that early part.
Okay. Go ahead, Kevin.
No. I was just thinking that black folk, regardless of our sexuality, sometimes we become our own worst enemies.
Absolutely. Yeah. You know what? We had thought about stuff like that too, because we knew that you have that feeling that something's not right, although everything looks good and it's moving along. Something's just not right, which was some things that was cooking in the background that we weren't doing. And then eventually when we found out, we were not that happy. And that's why we ended up leaving. Although now I've had to clear up some rumors from the past that information was given that Robert said I was fired. And I'm thinking, I think it's somebody that doesn't work for you and it's not the kind of a corporation. But that's neither here nor there. That just always bothered me, but none of that is true. We left it for reasons because, number one, they were changing the admission price. They also wanted to put somebody else in there that could be a DJ, but did not have the beat and the soul that was needed for that. So that's why we left.
Wow.
Now, how did you go? Go ahead, man.
No, I'm just going to say that the music is critical. So I think I'm going to ask the same question you're going to ask. At what point do you come back to New York, or do you make a phone call to attract Frankie Knuckles?
Well, you know what? The thing about that was something that Michael had worked out, basically because we knew there was another DJ there called Larry Levine who was really good. He was trying in New York. And Frankie wasn't really that known. Right. So I remember when Frankie came here one particular time, and that was it. And I remember he left. Frankie didn't come back again until Michael called him because the warehouse was running into problems.
Okay.
And they were basically, the Bowery was basically bankrupting them and causing them to temporarily get ready to close. But Michael suggested to Robert, he said, you know what? I'm not, see about Frankie coming here. And that's what they did. Frankie came here for the grand opening for 206 South Jefferson. Lines around the corner. And after that, the next week, nobody was there because the Bowery was having a party.
So talk a little about the Bowery.
Oh, so the Bowery became into existence. After we left the warehouse, we weren't really ready, but we couldn't stay there, with egg on our face. So we figured, you know what? We did this once, we can do it again. Right. And then Vicky came up with the name. Vicky came up with the name U.S. Studio, and she also came up with the Bowery. Okay. And when we got the Bowery together, it was just a few of us. But we had been looking for places, and there was this Art Deco studio on Halsted and Diversity called Horses. And they used to bring the place out. So we talked to them. We went into the place and had our first party there, which was the White Heat Party. Okay. Now, just to give a little insight on that, the White Heat Party, that was back in, 1976? Mm-hmm. The attire was all white. Nobody else, Puff Daddy and anybody else, did not have a white party before we did.
Yeah.
Okay. Original.
Check the record. We had a party, and it was called White Heat, and the attire was white. You must wear white. Wow. And there was only 4 allowed to get in. So, of course, the lounge around the corner on Diversity all the way from Halsted to Clark Street. Okay. And when the people at Horses saw that, they said, oh, my God, they said, you guys want to keep renting? We said, well, we'd like to keep renting maybe every Saturday for the next month or so until we find a place of our own. Yeah. And eventually, after so many, we always had theme parties there because Horses was like a real Art Deco place. And people back in those days liked Art Deco. Yeah. It was the lighting fixtures, everything designed. And we started with balloons. We'd always have the balloons up, and then at the end of the night, we'd always let them just come down, drifting down while the music gets playing. You know, like the theme song leading out that night was "Here Comes the Sun." So it would just always be the mood. And once we got to with horses, we ended up we found 638 South Federal for the Bowery.
Okay.
Now, you know what's
Go ahead.
I was going to say, what's so interesting is that as you're talking, based on the research that I was able to do, they don't go into great detail about those aspects of the clubs.
Right.
Wow.
Of course not. But then, one of the things I remember seeing when Barbara did her documentary, was looking at the color combination in the Bowery on Federal Street, and it was just like an apartment. You had to have it like an apartment because that's what we got from David's Loft.
Yes.
You know, the seating area. We some people on the dance floor. So we brought that same concept.
Yes.
And we ended up raising the dance floor up higher than it was just on the regular floor. So all of that was done. So it just made it a better place to dance. Coat room, I mean, everything was made so that it would be comfortable for people and let them see things that they've never seen before, especially by Black people.
Now, now you said when you did the loft in Chicago, did you got some of that idea when you did the loft and when you were to visit the loft in New York?
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
Got you.
Because of that, and the people always came out having a great time.
Yep.
They, just made sure they had a place to go and hang out front or whatever. So we always made sure that, but we always had a good contact with the police department too, so we wouldn't have any problems.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. The only one that we couldn't get together with was the mafia, which is what caused that problem. Because we were over on Clinton Street, but we were renting a place from a friend of ours that had a loft in this building at 116 South Clinton Street. Mm-hmm. And we rented her place and had a great party. And then we discovered, Robin and I discovered on her second floor of her building, there was an empty space, but there was a big hole in the floor. So we inquired about that, got that place fixed up, opened up, had a party that night. Night the mafia came, I told them no deal, no way, we ain't paying no money. The next day, the place was on fire.
Wow.
That's what I wanted you to. Yeah, I wanted you to tell that story.
The thing that's so interesting about that is that people were saying before that it was the wiring and so on. So I said there wasn't no wiring and nothing like that. Dickie and they talking to these short white guys with their hats on and stuff. We knew who they were and what they were talking about. But I told them, we paid to have a party here. We're not paying you guys. Were you in the area where people always have to pay? I said, are you listening to me? I'm from the South Side. We're not paying. And we went on the eastern side. And Dickie and I, we told Michael, we didn't tell anybody else because we didn't want them to be worried. And then like I said, the next day, I was living in the building where we said the party was, 432 West Belmont. My brother lives on the second floor. Next time I hear somebody beat on the door and I open the door, he's got a newspaper. Look! And they said, warehouse above fire. We said, what the? And that was
wow. You know what, Donald? When you said mafia, right? That reminded me of something I read recently about Stonewall Inn, right?
Okay.
The original founders and owners of Stonewall, they were mafia.
Yep. You're right.
I was like, wow. So they weren't gay or anything, but they just recognized the amount of money that this quasi speakeasy was bringing in.
Exactly.
Isn't that crazy?
They knew that.
Yeah. Stonewall.
So after the fire, go ahead.
No, I was going to say Stonewall, but continue. Yes.
Yeah, so I'm saying, so now after this fire strike, what's next?
After the fire strike, well, I kind of jumped ahead of something because that was before 555.
Okay, go ahead.
I'm 75 years old, guys, so I have to keep my memory kind of more.
You young, man. You young.
Come on, man. As long as you listen to house music, you young, brother. You got it.
That's what's up. Music is my life, okay?
I know.
Yeah, we were there at 555 once we left 116 South Clinton, which is basically around the corner. And that's where we went to 555, which is a new place that most people remember.
Okay.
And
Wow.
so 555 was your latest place, right?
Yeah, 555 was the latest place and we ended up leaving there before Robert and them went to 206 South Jefferson. Because when we left 555, they were there in the process of ready to leave. So that's how that happened.
Got you.
And at the time, what club are you at, and what club is Robert doing?
Well, at that time, Robert was still. They were just getting ready to move into. Nobody was doing anything at that particular time.
Okay.
Because we left, I think they might have had one or two more parties, and that's when we were trying to start the Bowery, and they were going to 206 South Jefferson. So nothing happened in between the time any of us were looking for places to go.
Okay.
Now prior, I'm jumping ahead of myself, but then prior to his passing, did you get to know Frankie Knuckles?
Oh yeah, I knew Frankie because when I go to New York, we'd see Frankie.
Got you.
And I to talk to him, and then once Frankie came here, we had him DJ. Frankie did the grand opener for the warehouse.
Yes.
Yeah. Success, and after that, nobody came. We had Frankie come back and had Frankie DJ at the Bowery.
Got you.
And they loved him. After they loved him, he went back. He went to the warehouse where they offered him this and that and this and so on. So, and that's when he jumped off. And that's when everything started happening. But if we had not had him come to the Bowery and DJ, nobody would have heard of him here because he wouldn't have gone to the warehouse. They probably would have closed.
So
okay, so he was at the back. Oh, go ahead, man.
I think we're about to ask the same question. So if I understand correctly, there was the warehouse, the Bowery, and then the warehouse again. Correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Right.
Got you. And so at what point do we begin to know Frankie Knuckles as the Godfather of House? When does that moniker become attached to him?
That's 206 South Jefferson.
Okay.
Because once he came back and we had him DJ at the Bowery, and then he went back over to 206 South Jefferson, he started getting the crowd to come in.
Gotcha.
And that's when they started coming back there, and that's when he jumped off, and he became it. But then remember, after that, they had the music box, and then he also had his place. So, which, by the way, we would support him when he had his place. We would always go. But I didn't go to the warehouse.
You never went to the warehouse?
I went to 206 South Jefferson one time.
Okay. Any particular reason?
Well, and after that time, and after we got the Bowery, I was tired of that. I just wanted to have back to my normal life. I wasn't any kind of celebrity or something, but that was a lot of work.
Yeah.
Having to get, take care of the music, cleaning up the place, going to get the refreshments every Saturday morning, going to check up. It was just a lot of stuff, and then basically getting home Sunday morning around 9 and 10 o'clock.
Right.
Can't do nothing but go to sleep, and then you miss everything until Monday. So, yeah. But it was, at the beginning, though, it was fun. But then I guess, like a lot of people say, shit, I'm tired. So that was it. But other than that, it was fun. It was great fun.
This is like soap opera house music, because I want to go back. Right, this is like soap opera house. I want to go back because you're saying so many things, Don. I want to make sure I got the scorecard correct. So we've got U.S. Studio, then it becomes U.S. Studio Warehouse, then it becomes Bowery, then it becomes Warehouse. And then Frankie Knuckles, he gets upset with you guys, then he starts his own?
Well, I don't know what happened with him over at over in 206. Remember, I'm saying 206 South Jefferson, although it's definitely being called the Warehouse. Yeah. But I'm going to call it 206 South Jefferson. I don't know what happened with them there, but I know he ended up opening up his own place over there on right off the Chicago Avenue. What was the name of it?
You're not talking about not the plant.
Power plant.
The power plant. Yeah.
That was Frankie's place. That was afterwards. I mean, by that time, I was we were out of the Bowery and everything by then. The Bowery had ended. We just stopped. Nobody ran the Bowery out. We stopped it because we had put them out. Yeah.
So what year is this when when you called it a day as far as being a club owner?
Beginning of 1979.
79 is when you called it quits and went back to a normal, quote unquote, normal life.
I went back to living Donald's living a peaceful life. No, I mean, because before, remember, it was never any peace. Because even though the party was on Saturday, we had to be working busy Thursday, Friday, Saturday. And we had jobs,
Right.
all of us except Robert. But anyway, we all had jobs and we knew we had stuff to do. Those were the two I threw in there. But we knew what we had to do. So that was it. That's when we ended. And that's when we decided that was it. But we felt great leaving. And then 2 years later, I missed it, of course, but I didn't go to anybody's clubs after that.
Wait. So after you closed your own club, you stopped going to clubs?
Yeah.
Wow.
I think we do Frankie's every now and then. And because my job, I was working at Michael Reese Hospital, and I had gotten I was getting offered a certain position, and I devoted my time to that.
Yes.
But yeah, I went on to hear maybe a few bars every now and then. But even so, as I knew I was getting older, I wasn't gonna get out there and house music my butt off.
Yeah.
Some hospital. Right. No, not as much as I used to. Okay.
Well,
so I want to know. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say since the closing, had you come back to New York just to say hello to some of your friends?
Since the closing, I went back there about 3 times.
Okay.
I haven't been back there since.
Gotcha.
Matter of fact, some of my friends, I found out through Robert and had passed on over the years and stuff. But I really didn't go back there that much after that because basically everything I needed was right here because we had put it to that degree that we didn't have to go to New York.
Yes.
So,
yes.
Okay. Because one of the other things about stuff like that was because I was going back and forth to New York, because of the kind of clientele we were getting, people from Chicago was going to New York to shop. Yeah.
Gotcha.
So that's true. In New York, a lot of business. I mean, because people wanted to always look good when they came out on Saturday night. So that was another thing. Yeah.
Yeah. Now, you were, at this time, you and Robert are still cool, right? You and Robert Williams?
Yeah, but it's kind of, we were. Let me see.
You were cordial.
we were cordial because we had some of the same friends in the person that we would be in.
Okay.
And it wasn't until a couple of the guys passed, like Benny Winfield, who had been a DJ at the 555 West, the person I was talking about, that they wanted to DJ, but I didn't like that. However, him and like Linda Robinson and Harold Cherry, who came from New York, when they had passed, I just kind of moved away from that.
Okay.
And, hey, listen to this. End up buying me a house in the suburbs. No.
Look at moving on up. That's what's up. So what is the impact of the gay community? I want to know the impact of the gay community and its influence on the shape and sound of the culture of house music and the house genre itself. What do you think the gay influence is? Gay community influence.
Well, the gay community influence the fact that you realize that you can go anywhere, you can do anything, you can express yourself. You don't have to be having no expression in the closet. Just knowing that, and there were people out there who were supporting you, and the fact that you basically had your own culture, your own style of dancing, your own music. So basically, LGBTQ just was on top of the world.
Okay. Would you say that LGBTQ started house? Did house start in the gay club?
Yeah, definitely started in the gay club. But remember, back then there was no LGBTQ. Right. No, I just use that for the question. It would have been nicer than some of the names we were called, but we survived.
Exactly. I understand. I understand. Now, okay, so you left the scene in like 79. So it was disco still, correct?
Yeah, it was still disco. Donna Summers was still the reigning queen.
Right. Now,
Mhm.
even though you weren't in the club, were you still paying attention to the scene? Were you still hearing new music or anything like that, or you just checked out?
No. I went to Pride Parade. I still had association with friends of mine who lived north and south and east, whatever.
Okay.
I would get together with them and go to some certain parties, a lot of private parties, and not private like the Diddy party. So I don't want nobody thinking.
No, you ain't do no Diddy party.
Yeah. Well, you already did
right.
you already did the white party, so you safe, brother. You safe.
You good.
No,
Wow.
that was basically it. I met a lot of people over the years, and one of the interesting things that I'm going to mention is when we were recently at Frankie's, the Black Party.
Yeah.
A lot of people came up to me and said, "You're Donald, right?" I mean, things like that. Or somebody came up and said something like, "You're the guy you should be lights up the Bowery." I'm like, "Yeah, man, that was me."
Yeah.
But the fact that a lot of people remembered me, some of them I did remember faces, but other than that, it just made me feel nice. It just made me feel good.
Yeah.
And then I took a picture of Robert and I together. I think Barbara did.
That's beautiful.
You get two OGs or something, and I like that picture because one of the things about it is basically recently when the Warehouse had something at the Cultural Center, they were doing all the pictures and everything over the years, etc. Did you guys ever know about that?
Yeah, I know about it.
Okay, well, at that particular gathering with all those pictures, they had one picture of me and Michael.
Wow. Just
one picture of me and Michael with Robert. So I said, we had to share the picture with him. It bothered me, but of course, back during those times, Michael said, "Donald, leave it alone.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't let him know that because his birthday is coming up on the 20th. When I do his happy birthday to him, I'm going to let him know. So I haven't told the story, buddy. Your name is out there. I told you I was doing it for you. There you go.
There you go. Now, in reality, you and Robert, are you all the only two that are still with us?
Right.
Okay. So you all are the two, the Godfathers of the club. Oh, wow.
The OGs.
Wow. Brother Donald,
Brother Robert and I.
The question I have for you, brother, is do you think that you would like to do a Warehouse reunion or a U.S. studio reunion?
Yeah, of course. I would do something like that. You know, one of the things I'm always thinking about, I always feel like the chosen few. I always say, I'm going to get up on that stage one of these times. You know, that time. We were before all of them, and they all came after us. And like I said, that's the kind of crowd I think that needs to know the stories that they don't know or they don't listen to the radio or read the magazines or anything. So, yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because
that would be nice.
In New York, every year they do the Paradise Garage reunion, and I had a brother of mine. His name is DJ Curvin Mark. Very, very low key, but him and two other DJs, they were instrumental in starting that reunion.
Oh wow! Okay.
You know, and so when I had a chance to interview him, I mean, very humble, very low key. I mean, like low key is not even the word. He's lower than lat, but he's so humble. And he was telling me all the great things that he's done. I'm like, come on, man. He said, yeah, he had two other DJs, and they started the Paradise Garage reunion.
Wow.
And so
that has to be nice.
Yeah, and so listening to you, brother, and you're a very humble and informative too. I would love to see you, as they say, get your flowers now.
Yeah.
While you can smell them, brother. That would be cool. And even if you did that, you know, Pierre and I, we always get on the phone and we're always, you know, trying to put other people's lives together. But here it is. maybe a week before the Chosen Few DJ, you had the Warehouse or U.S. Studio reunion, or did it a week before, or do it like they do this on a Saturday. You would do yours Wednesdays and Thursdays. You know, so
I see what you're saying. Yeah,
so now people are coming to Chicago for 4 or 5 days now, as opposed to just that 1 day or 2 days or that weekend.
Wow.
Yeah. I know with the Chosen Few, they take up a whole week before they actual. before the actual, because the party used to be the 4th of July weekend, but now we got NASCAR. NASCAR takes that weekend, so they got the weekend after that.
Right.
But that whole week prior to the event, they got parties. The pre party, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and then the party. Then they got the after party and the after party. You know. So then maybe after that, you know what I'm saying? Because their party is Saturday, so the whole week before the chosen few event, and then they have an event on Saturday. Then they still got something on Sunday.
Yeah.
Now the week after that would still be open.
Yeah.
Mm.
I mean,
Otherwise,
brother, you need your flowers because I'm listening to your story and I'm like, wow, you are the impetus. You are at the front of all of this, man.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that.
You know,
But
if it wasn't for you and you being a visionary and your creative spirit, man, we would not be having this interview. I don't know. We may be listening to house music, but not from this format, from this standpoint.
Yeah.
So, brother, thank you.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Yes, and when I first met you, Don, we were at the Cultural Center, I think, and we saw the screening of the WTTW documentary that BA did, Barbara.
Right.
That's when I first met you, and
Right.
I was like, man, I got to talk to you. I got a magazine, Go Bang, and I got to get you, and you was like, hit me up, give me a call, give me a call.
Yeah.
So this was a long time coming, and then once I hooked up with my partner Kevin.
Yes, sir.
I was like,
Yes,
okay,
sir.
let's do that.
Yes,
Let's
sir.
do that.
I appreciate it simply because could never talk about it before because it would seem like I was bragging or people would have thought I was making stuff up because I really had no reason to just all of a sudden start talking about it until Barbara came up with this. The documentary said, oh, okay. Because before I was being quiet and whenever would be something said about the warehouse or Robert, my nephew, Brian Hayes, would always say, like, oh, see, you got to say something. I was always like, no, Brian, I'm okay. I'm good. When he eventually got to the point with him and Barbara Allen on me, I said, all right, let's do it. I knew she would do a good job with it, though.
Yeah, did a great job with it. Yeah, absolutely. What do you think was the hardest challenges that you all faced running U.S. studios in a warehouse?
Okay, so doing that, back during that time, remember now, for the warehouse and U.S. studio, it's not conducive to everybody. So even people in certain neighborhoods and stuff, even though we were in a warehouse area, you always still have those people that complain.
Okay.
Because we were black. And that's the key there. Because I remember going to this one building about a block away from us because this lady had put a little article, some copies of papers around about these undesirables on so-and-so West Adams Street.
Oh, wow.
And I figured she was, back then she was a Karen. We just didn't know she was. So,
Pre-Karen.
Yeah.
Hey, Karen's been around a long time. We just started calling them out. Okay?
We just found out her name.
So, yeah, they were just like complaining about us. But yeah, that was the hardest thing. Other than that, we had good service with the companies that we had to rent them from, or even the markets we would go to. They would give us good deals because we were regular customers. So we really didn't have any hard time. There were no fights. There was no gunshots. That's one thing we never had an outburst or a fight. Anything like that. And so people would always come out. They would come out to dance, and we knew it. So we relied on our clientele. That's why we about choosing the clientele at first. Yeah. So that those people started letting other people that want to come and say, well, if you go in here, you got to do so-and-so, and ain't none of this so-and-so. So our clientele would tell people, don't become that think he's going to get some shit going.
Yeah.
Right.
Wow. Leave them knives at home because we don't play that. Yeah, right.
Absolutely.
That is one. Yeah, go ahead, Kevin.
No. I'm just agreeing with you, but go ahead, Pierre. I got you, man.
Yeah, I was saying that is one thing about the house community. Over the years, the house community, the atmosphere, and the drama has increased. I don't know about everywhere else, but I know here in Chicago, it's a lot of unnecessary drama going on in the Chicago house community.
Mm-hmm. What kind of drama, Pierre?
Look at you. It's a lot. You know, we have a whole lot of DJs here in Chicago.
Okay. Yeah.
Everybody's a DJ here in Chicago. Some people are good DJs, some people are great DJs, and some people just call themselves DJs.
Yes.
They DJ, right? Mm-hmm, yeah.
You know what I mean? And so, in the early years, it was more community.
Yes.
In the 80s, the 90s, it was
Yeah.
more community. Everybody loved each other. Everybody. It wasn't 9 million DJs either. It was people that knew what they were doing. This is when vinyl left, and then CDs, then they got their sticks and stuff like that. But it was more of a community.
Yes.
That's when I was partying back then. I went to the plant. I didn't do the warehouse. I went to the plant and the box. As a teenager, I only went to the plant and the box. I never did sock hops at my high school, which is Kenwood Academy. I never did that. I went straight to the box and the plant. It was loving.
Who was the owner of the box?
I don't know who the owner was, but Ron Hardy was the DJ. Who was the owner? Do you know?
For what? The music box?
Yeah.
The music box, that was run by Robert.
That's Ron. Okay, that's our Robert. Yeah.
Oh, so
that was Robert.
So the same
Robert
guy.
was running it because they ended up closing from that because the electricity was cut off or something like that. Yeah, that was Robert's place.
Yeah.
After 206 Jefferson, he went over there.
All right,
Lower Wacker. That's the one I went to.
Gotcha.
But yeah, as I was saying, the community was more loving, more community, more love. Everybody called you brother and sister. You down, you in the club. You smoking on whatever you smoking on. It was the Jacardi cigarette smell like incense or whatever you got. You pass it right next to the person. You don't even know this person, but hey, you want to hit it? Here, you want to drink? You want to do? And it was love and community.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's sort of different now. It's petty here in Chicago. It's a little more pettier, at least I would say, on the south side. The south side. I don't know about the north side DJs, but it's a lot of. Go ahead, man.
Competition, competitive.
It's very competitive and cutthroat, backstabbing, clicks, a lot of clicks.
You know you don't get it to make any comments.
I know that, but it's the truth. The truth is the truth. There's a lot of clicks, and it is what it is. And I just hope it can get past that and get back to
but you know
real root.
As long as people like house music, it's going to be petty all over. So I'll give you an example here. So New Jersey is not that big, right?
Yeah.
But you've got North Jersey, which is closer to New York. I live in Central Jersey, and you've got South Jersey. So a lot of times, some of the North Jersey DJs won't come down South Jersey.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Right.
Okay.
And then one time I brought a DJ in. I brought Curvin Mark in. I brought Curvin from New York to Central Jersey. Right.
Yeah.
I had a couple of girls come to me and says, "Listen, I want my money back because he's not playing the music." I'm like, "Well, wait."
Right. Yeah. So it's petty everywhere.
It's petty everywhere, brother. It's petty everywhere. I mean, I brought you the DJ who is the co-founder or one of the founders to the Paradise Garage House Music Reunion, and you're saying he corny, you want your money back? Go sit down somewhere.
Right. Yeah. That's for real.
You know
one thing that has remained constant is that it's never any fight at any house party.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
Never.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That's been constant. Yeah, like you said, don't bring that here. We ain't having it. Well, if something get out of hand, somebody in the crowd is gonna squash it.
Yeah, right. No,
not here.
We have that mentality that, you know what, if somebody you let somebody come along and mess up something, then that's gonna ruin it for everybody else. And nobody wants nobody to close their club down. So that's when people, I think, were so attentive as far as anything happened. I remember a guy came to me one time. I was standing by the DJ booth. And he said, "Excuse me, Mr. Donald." I said, "Oh, not Mr. Donald. Hold on now." All right. Yeah, I want to let you know. I think somebody smoking some marijuana in the bathroom.
Right.
Really? I said, "How do you know?" He said, "Well, I could smell it." I said, "Oh, okay, thanks. And we'll get your spray."
Right, that's all. Don't stop it. Don't stop the groove.
They can smell it. He said, "They can smell it." I said, "Thank you. I'm gonna go spray." He said,
"There
okay."
you go." So everybody protective of the environment.
Yeah.
Don, what do how would you? I know I'm not putting you in the grave, but how would you like to be remembered, or your legacy, or the legacy of the club that you helped start? What's your legacy?
The actual one of the co-founders of house, underground parties, house music, etc. And after I'm gone, remember, I was one of the last of the OGs.
Yeah. That's what it's about.
That's it.
How old are you? You say you're 75?
Yes, sir.
You're a young 75.
You a young buck. You a young buck. Come on, man.
Okay, well, I'm talking to you guys. I'm exercising. Don't shut up.
There you go.
Hey, Don, do me a favor, right? So,
Yes, sir.
when I have to put this podcast in a can, I always like to give a title. What would you want the title of this episode to be?
Oh, wow. Okay.
That's good.
That's a real good one. I have to kind of combine everything together.
Well, you can think about it, and you can forward it to Pierre. Well,
yeah, we'll come back to that. We're gonna come back to that.
We want to come up with something catchy because, the first 2 minutes of this episode, man, you were on fire because you listen, you totally dismissed everything that we knew and everything that we researched about Chicago, man. So that was major, that was major,
I'm glad. I appreciate it. I appreciate you calling me.
But I want you to think about what would be a title. And if we can't use it in the title, what could we use in terms of the descriptive narrative that we also like to accompany, this episode? Because we like to put together like a paragraph or so, giving some insight, giving some backstory as to how this episode came about. So we can also use that title in the descriptive narrative as well. So you take your time and just let us know. But we're gonna drop this on next Friday, this upcoming Friday.
The studio, the warehouse, and the Bowery. I want to just incorporate it with just my whole experience of that whole situation, the New York, the back and forth. So yeah, I'm happy. I gotta think on that.
Yeah, think of no rush on that, because we want it to be personal. We want you to come up with it, because it's from the horse's mouth, so to speak. You know what I mean? You come up with what this has been like you said. You finally got stuff off your chest. Yep. That you want to get off your chest. You want the real story to get out. You want to get where credit is due. Get credit where credit is due.
Yeah,
dismiss the other stories.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that. That's fine. It's been a journey, so I need to just combine that into
put something like that together.
But brother Don, I feel you touched the nerve in me, right? Because and I'll tell you how. Because I talk a lot, but I am very humble. A lot of folks have done trash to me, but I've never told the full story. So when you talked about, now I'm going to tell the full story, I'm like, I feel you, brother. I feel you. So I think that if you are genuine in your intent of what you do and what you've known to be true, tell your story, because no one else is going to tell your story unless it's you.
Exactly. That's what I want to make sure. That's what I want to make sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's all. It's been 50 years, guys. So hey, it was time.
Yeah, I'm glad we were blessed with this opportunity, and you trusted us enough to come and talk with us.
No.
I appreciate that.
Pierre, you make it sound like we're gonna let the brother go. We got plenty of time, man.
Good. I still got one more. I got more questions.
And we want to hear Pierre. Go ahead. We want to hear those questions, brother. Go ahead.
Cool. There we go. So, what advice would you give these young DJs that's out here and producers that are trying to continue the house genre? Little young DJs, because it's the older people. The original DJs are like my age or older. I'm 57, so they're like 60 plus, and so it's a new kids coming out. The younger people. Emails, things of that sort. What advice would you give them?
First of all, I would let them know, don't be judgy. have a couple of people or a few people that you can share information with, other DJs. Kind of look out for each other. Make sure you learn your craft. Don't spend time worrying about what somebody else is doing. Perfect your own craft. You're going to stand out. And that's the main thing about that. Just trust yourself, trust your instinct, and don't try to be nobody else but yourself.
Yeah. That's great advice. That's for real. Like you said, instead of worrying about other people, worry about you, and then once you perfect yours, you're going to shine anyway.
Exactly. Right.
There's a young lady I meant to tell you about, P. Her name is DJ KT. K-TEA. She's from Chicago. Sister.
Okay, KT.
Young girl. And I forgot who I think she's hanging out with Alan King now. But she is learning. She is learning the craft. So when you brought that question up about how do young folks, I think that as a young person, they've got to align themselves with one of the big boys to really understand the craft, right?
Yeah, like a mentor.
As a mentor, because our music is so distinctive, right? You don't, if you don't have a grandparent or aunt or uncle that knows this music, this is a hard sound to appreciate. You don't wake up in your 20s or 30s and say, "Oh, I love house music." That don't happen.
Right. That's right. You grew up on it.
Yeah, this is something where your grandmother was listening to while she was babysitting you while your mother was at work or something that I feel that beat because grandma, but this is, this is, you know what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah. That's so true. That's so true.
That's true. Yep. Now, Don, you're 75. You're a Pisces. You were born in March of 1949.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I did my research. Tell me about young Don.
Yeah, well, so far everything is true that you said. Okay. So.
Don't mess it up now.
Tell me about young Don.
Let's see.
I think from little up to 20. Let's do that first.
Okay, little. I was always a talker. Always wanted to entertain people. My father used to take me. They called them taverns back then.
Yeah.
I would dance and people would pay me.
You were dancing to the baby, huh?
They paid me, and I told them. I asked them later on in life. I said, "When he said, oh, you was buying me beers," I was like, "Shit, okay." But yeah, I always liked to entertain back then. And then when I got to school and I meet a lot of people, I've always been an outgoing kind of person. I've never been shy. I've never held my tongue back. I always spoke up to somebody if I felt somebody was getting an injustice done to them. One of my teachers at one time said my father in a note telling me, Donald has suddenly stopped using his fine mind. Better start slugging. Because,
wow.
Because I was always, my mouth would get me in trouble. But I didn't like the way Mr. Corner, the way he talked. Like I was in fifth grade, and I was about to let him get away with some of the shit I knew he was saying. Everybody else didn't understand it, but I did. So I did what he said. Then as I got and started getting involved, I had some few girlfriends, and I was in a club called twice. I was in a club called the Ivy Brothers, which means we were all Ivy Leaguers. None of that golf the Mac crap. Right. Then I joined the club. We became the 17 Best Men. And that's when I got the induction into being a club member and knowing how good it felt to have brothers around you that you can trust and talk to and things. And
now, what age are you at? Is this the 20s or 30s? Or what?
Like 16 to 15 to 18.
Okay. Now take me to 20 to 30.
Okay. And from 19, I started working at Michael Reese Hospital.
Okay.
After school as a patient escort. I attended Parker High School.
Okay.
I was a patient escort there, and then a couple of years later from that is when we got into the idea of going to New York.
Yeah.
And that's when the idea started for that.
There you go.
So now,
There
when
you go. So
you came to New York, you were catch the plane.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I always, one of the things about this, like I said, I should, I'm not going to be going to jail for something I say now because the time should be. What is it? It's too late to.
Statute of limitation.
Right. That's what I'm looking for because when we went to New York, we should have tickets sent every week. Back then, they would mail you your tickets, and you would have to pay for them later. Well, some people, not mentioning your name,
no names, please.
Mail to houses where nobody lives here.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
But that just goes to tell you the mail system. The mailman put the mail right on in the mailbox. The only mail that had to come with that place was the airline ticket.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
I didn't do anything. I just let them give me a ticket. So
that's it. Wow.
And plus, it wasn't expensive back and forth then to go to New York. The thing is, you want to try to get a flight. And later on, it started getting to be difficult to get them cheap flights to New York.
Yeah.
Okay.
So one of the other times, a friend of mine and I, we drove there after the warehouse had started. I had a 1974 MG Midget convertible. And we drove it to New York. That blew, I remember. Yeah. Yeah. Those were fun days. Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Now, where did you normally stay when you came to New York? When I first came there, we would stay at the Y. Okay.
And then we meet people, and then, got to know people real good, and they became your friends, and you stayed with them.
Got you.
Yeah. Hotels was always a hotel kind of person then.
Yeah,
until later on. Mm-hmm.
You're talking about 1920. You didn't have a lot of money. You had money to spend to get the flight and to get into the club.
But then, one thing I liked about that was the clubs were not expensive to get in.
Gotcha.
They also had a thing called Better Days. That was another spot that I really. It wasn't like the garage, or it was a bar, which would have been larger and nicer than the Jeffrey Pub.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Other than that, yeah, it was fun.
Yeah, that's
wow.
Man, my mouth is open because I'm in awe, man. I mean, to meet Frankie Knuckles, to know him on a first name basis, right? That's crazy.
He was really, you know what? He was more than just a DJ. He was a good guy. He was an artist.
Yes.
He could have a great conversation.
Yes.
He can tell you some stories and some shit about New York, and you can sit there with your mouth open for the longest.
Oh yeah.
He'd have to tell you, Donald, close your mouth. I mean, like, I cannot believe it.
Yeah. Wow.
But everybody liked him. He fit well in the crowd. So yeah. Look, he was always off to him. I tip my head all the time to him.
Now,
is there any? Oh, go ahead, man.
No, I was going to say, were you into fashion, and did you pick up some of the? Did you go down to Canal Street or Delancey to pick up some of the fashion and to bring back when you were in New York?
Yeah. Well, we did, and also we ended up. There was a couple of those shops in Brooklyn that we used to like to go to. I can't remember, but they always sold the unique stuff that everybody else didn't have.
Yes.
Yeah, but yeah, we used to go. I love the Soho district and all of that. So it was great. It was a lot of nice shopping there.
Yeah.
I have to tell you one thing. I remember during the warehouse days, we were. 555. We were in New York, and back then people were doing putting the platforms on their shoes.
Yeah. Yes.
I ended up buying a pair of metallic silver Chuck Taylors, or Alston, as Alston is what they're called. And what I did was, when I was in New York, I had 3-inch platforms put on those.
On the sneakers?
Yeah, on the sneakers. And I'm telling you, when we would be at the warehouse or something like that, and it would work right, I would just walk across the floor and all you see is my shoes. That's what's up. You had your moment and you come out when the lights start blinking. Oh, that's my cue. Oh, I was standing up by the speakers, and actually one of the records that I really liked was Patti LaBelle. What can you do for me? That would come on. You would be up by the speakers. I would just be jumping up and down. All you saw was silver feet.
The
Going up
silver
and-
peak.
Yeah, those were fun days. And somebody asked me recently, what happened to those shoes? I said, I remember when I was working at the Hyatt, they had a concierge Halloween party, and I don't remember what's falling out of them. I don't know what happened to them after that.
Yeah. You pulled them back out, though.
I had to have my ankle wrapped because I had sprained my ankle. I said, damn, I've been wearing them shoes for 5 years. All of a sudden I fall. So
That's crazy. That's crazy. Is there any? Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say, Brother Don, if you had, I know you don't have any regrets, but if you had to do something over, what would you do over, and how would it be different?
I would probably, well, most of that would be the same, but it would have to do with 555 West Adams. I would love to have stayed there
Okay.
and made the real place that we knew that it could be, which is why we had the vision in the first place. It was an ideal location. We had put all that work in there, rebuilding things and taking those old church benches out from them old churches and stuff and putting all that stuff in there, shellacking it. All that work and we put into that. I was so proud of that
Yes.
because nothing was getting to it. We all had to get up and roll our sleeves up, and we worked like a real team.
Mm-hmm.
Brothers and sisters. And that's what I always remember about that.
That's what's up. Now, you and Frankie had a great friendship. Is there any particular moment or memory that you have with Frankie that you will always remember? And then I got a follow-up question to that.
Yeah, well, one of the things is that time he came to DJ at the Bowery, and we were talking just about things in New York and so and so. And then at one point, he was playing, oh my God, gee, I don't want to say the boss, it was something Diana Ross's either. I don't know, but whatever.
No one gets surprised.
Yeah.
No, I'm a DJ too. I used to be a DJ. I'm qualified. Go ahead.
My house jumping up and down singing that song. Oh,
yeah.
And I remember doing the light. Then when I got to with that, he grabbed me and hugged me and said, that was the best light display that I've ever seen. And I just
wow.
Coming from him, that
means a lot.
Yes.
That meant a lot.
Yes.
Because like I said, he was Frankie. Oh,
right.
Frankie.
Oh, yeah. Now, is there anything about Frankie, because I know you know him well, is there anything about him that would shock us, general public? Anything about his personality or any hobbies or anything that would say, oh, Frankie did that?
Well, knowing that he's the artist other than that, no, I ain't saying nothing.
Okay, bro, we don't want to pull out nothing. No, I ain't trying to start nothing.
Brother Don said I plead the fifth.
No, I just meant like an interesting fact or something, That's all.
Me saying it like I just said, it made it seem like I know something, but no.
Yeah, dude. We ain't trying to get you in trouble.
I'll never tell. No, but he was really just a genuine good guy. No matter how you saw him or what you heard about him, if you didn't know him, you didn't know him because he was an all-around good guy, period. And they looked out for you. So, yeah, he, like I said, God rest his soul, he was a man that Dad would call that man.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's what's up.
Now,
go ahead.
No, P. Go. You go. I defer to you, P. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. So, are there any unfulfilled dreams or projects that you would like to still pursue that you haven't done thus far?
Question.
Oh, no, that's a great question. And I was even telling somebody the other day that one of the things I've done a lot of traveling in different states and stuff like that. I've never been in the country for fear of my own. But one of the things that I definitely still want to do is I have never gone to Mardi Gras.
Okay.
And that's one thing that I know I'm definitely going to do. It might probably be next year, but I'm definitely going to do that. Other than that, anything else I've done, I've enjoyed, keeping all the money, but I don't with stuff like that. It's just things that come natural. But yeah, just to do Mardi Gras in New Orleans.
You want to go to New Orleans? New Orleans.
Let me in Norway, boy.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah. Now, I guess my question would be, at what point did you think that you lost the love of music because it became too business oriented in terms of house music?
Oh, yeah. I'd have to probably say about the time that they started doing the power plant.
Got you.
Okay. Even with Frankie Dig, by that time I had got to a point where it was like, okay, now this is getting to be a little monotonous, you know.
Got you.
So yeah, that's about it. Other than that, it hasn't bothered me.
Okay.
So I hear music now, like I said, no matter where I am, especially don't let me be home, and then somebody on the radio. That volume is going up.
Yeah.
And my sister lives downstairs, and she knows when I'm partying by myself because I'm with floors and rocking.
But you still got the spirit. That's the spirit of disco and house.
Yeah.
I guess it's always happening. And then I have to remember that I can't dance like I used to, although I do try. And then I say, all right, boy, now don't be breaking no bones out here.
Yeah. I know that feeling because in your mind, you still 20 and 30.
You still got it, right. And that's and that's it. You feel it.
That's what's up.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
No, this has been a. I'm sorry, Pierre. Any more questions for you?
Go ahead.
I'm good.
I was going to say this has been a fantastic conversation. Not even an interview, man. Just a conversation. And so, Brother Don, we're gonna give you the final say, man. Anything that you want us to know, please close us out, man.
Well, first, I really want to thank both of you guys once again, and it's nice to see the work that you're doing for the community, and I appreciate that. And the fact that you actually thought that I was interesting enough to have a story to tell, and you were able to let me tell it, because, like I said, it's been over 50 years, and most of it, I remember a lot of stuff, but some of the stuff that I was able to tell you guys tonight brought back memory. So I appreciate the fact that I was able to put it out on the air. So thank you very, very much.
Yeah, I appreciate you, man. Yeah, that's cool, man. So I want to, anything you want to say to your fans or supporters?
Man, wait a minute. You know, that reminds me of something real quick. When we were at that bank building not too long ago, and I was telling the story there, and I remember this lady asking me one time, she said, well, you know what, somebody said they want to talk to you or so-and-so. And I said, I don't do interviews. And I thought, now you get boozy. Yeah, who was I back then? And then that was like years ago. Yeah. But I thought about that. I made the comment at the bank building. And I thought, I wasn't being, wasn't being a diva or a diva or anything like that. It's just that I was listening because during that time, I didn't want anybody asking me questions about Robert. Yeah, okay, yeah. Just recently, I started being able to communicate with him. It took a while, but like I said, even though Michael passed, before he passed, he would still deal with them. But I wouldn't, because I was like the suburbs too, and I didn't think it was that interesting to come out and to go north when I could just, So, yeah, but other than that, that's just it. Just wanted to get that out there.
No, thank you. And listen, Brother Don, the platform is always open to you. If you think of anything, you please reach out to Brother Pierre, and we'll get you back on the air so you can share your story. This is one of those moments, man, where at the end of the day, you can say this was nothing but a pleasure. Nothing but a pleasure. Yeah.
I enjoyed it. So like you said, it wasn't even an interview. It was really like talking to a couple of buddies. So hey,
conversation, exactly.
Conversation, right? Conversation. Yeah. So
I don't forget, Don. You supposed to be thinking of the title for this interview.
I wrote a little note here to myself, so I'm going to think about it.
There you go, and then I'll get that to you.
Okay, Kevin. Yeah,
Brother Don,
guys.
We're going to wish you nothing but continued success, brother. We love you, and thank you for sharing your story here.
Okay, I appreciate it, Kevin. Right. You guys take it easy.
All right, take care, Don. Take care, bro.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
All right, bye-bye.
That concludes another episode of the Entrepreneurial Enclave with Kevin Wortham, the podcast that focuses on building, maintaining, pivoting, planning, and investing in you, the entrepreneur. We hope you found this episode informative and enlightening. If you have any questions or comments about any of our episodes, please call 609-731-9311 or email Kevin at minding-our-business.com. We look forward to joining us for our next one. Until next time.